I'm Hope King. I'm a third-degree black belt in Taekwondo Karate. And what I'd like to talk about today is personal safety, most especially for people that are victims, commonly women, young children. The most important part of self-defense is being aware of your surroundings, knowing where danger occurs, knowing how to avoid it. Most karate schools teach combat, how to get out of a situation. My goal is to teach people how to avoid getting themselves in that situation to begin with. Being aware of shiny surfaces, looking behind you without having to actually turn around and letting people know that you're actually looking. Keeping your keys in your hand if you're walking in a city street. Keys make very good weapons. Basically, avoiding rapists.
All right. Let me ask you this. If I was a mother and I was walking out from work, my wife, she's a registered nurse. Should you keep your keys in your finger, between your fingers, or what's a good move if you're opening your car door, what's the best thing to do if somebody come up behind you and grab you?
Okay. The first thing is to remember that to get away from the person as fast as you can and run, because if they can grab a hold of you, a lot of times if you're small, they can pick you up, shove you in a van, and it's over. But your first motivation would be to get away. But my advice would be to keep your keys in your hand, like you said, so that kind of using it as like steel knuckles. Strikes the face, strikes the groin, gouges, anything of that sort.
Okay. All right. You want to try the news now?
Sure. Here we go again. A major 5-year construction project is now underway along the LBJ freeway. The project is intended to ease highway congestion. But of course, before that happens, traffic along the busy interstate is going to get much, much worse. Most commuters know that traffic along the LBJ freeway can be harrowing because of the sheer volume of vehicles, more than 500,000 each day that travel the highway. But over the next 5 years, a $2 billion reconstruction project aims to provide relief in the form of the LBJ Express. Work crews will be adding 13 miles of new lanes that will extend from Irving to northeast Dallas. Plus 4 more miles of additions will be built on the Interstate 35E just south of the LBJ freeway. In some sections, the new lanes will be placed underneath the current freeway. The multi-level design aims to alleviate the highway congestion and accommodate commuters who are willing to pay to ride along the added lanes. The LBJ Express is a cost-to-cruise extension, meaning that will provide a toll road option for drivers as a way for paying for upgrades.
Okay.
I'm Hope King, and I'm with HGTV, and I'm here with Mr. Ernest Walker. And we're here, very good. We're here to talk about nutrition and to touch upon today's American tendency towards supersizing things and being overweight. So what is your feeling about nutrition in the United States?
Well, first of all, I used to be 306 pounds a year and a half ago, and I've lost about 100 pounds. And, I feel healthier now. In the United States, I see, everything is fast food. I know you being a married person, you get busy and you tend to, do a lot of fast foods. But, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's a $1 billion industry, but I do feel that we need to make healthy choices. What I've started doing is instead of going to Jack in the Box, I go to Subway, and and you can still go to Subway and put all the crap on there and still get a bad sandwich. But you just have to be, I guess, a bit choosier about what you select.
Absolutely. Now, when you lost the weight, about how many months did it take you to lose that?
Realistically, once I started, it started out slow. Okay, and I really didn't see many results, but once it started coming off, it's like, after 3 months, there was a 6-month period between 3 and 9 months that it was rapid. It's so rapid that I was really afraid that I was losing too much weight too quickly. And, I wasn't doing a lot of exercising. What I did, I asked my doctor, I said, Doc, what can I do to stop losing weight? Can I do lap band, or can you give me a pill or something? And honestly, he said, shut your damn mouth and stop eating. I was like, did my doctor just tell me that? He said, Ernest, you're eating at least, 3 to 5,000 calories a day to maintain your weight. So he says, not the problem. You got to this weight, but now you're eating. My biggest problem, I was eating after 8 p.m., and I was eating that fifth meal. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then dinner. at 8 and 12 o'clock at night, and that's what was getting. And, I'm in my late 30s, and
Okay.
I had really bad eating habits. And up until I was 27, you have to realize a man's metabolism, it slows down at age 27.
As does a woman's.
Right. Well, I didn't realize that. But so what happened, all of those bad eating habits I had stuck with me, and then the weight started coming on. I used to eat like a horse, man, and I wouldn't gain any weight. But after 27, it started packing on.
And as far as alcohol, do you ever I know a lot of adults like to go out and indulge in beer, wine with dinner. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I know the American Heart recognizes that you should have at least a glass of wine a day. It's actually healthy for you. There's a lot of but any day is a good day to drink. But I've never been a drinker. I would call myself more of a social drinker. Being in the ministry, it doesn't say you can't drink. It's that you shouldn't be drunk.
Right.
So I don't have a problem having a little champagne. My wife and I, we bought. I try to keep it real. I bought a bottle of Christian Brothers for Christmas. Christian Brothers. And it's still sitting there. We had a little eggnog, and it'll probably sit there for 6 months unless my son come over and finds it, But, he was in the Navy, so he drinks like a sailor. But, drinking, it's okay to a certain extent. I think it can stimulate, some things. But, when you're doing it to change your mood, then something that's mind altering. But if you're just doing it socially,
Right. Yeah, that's basically what I'm talking about. You go to a business dinner and, people are drinking glasses of wine or having a martini or such, it's always important to keep in mind that there's a lot of calories in alcohol as well, and it slows down your metabolism as well. Anything that slows down your metabolism, of course, you're not going to burn, the calories as fast. Now, what are your ideas about, eating in the morning? Do you eat breakfast or?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I try to, because people don't realize that breakfast is your most important meal. Because they give you the energy. You don't drive a car, without putting any gas in it. Well, and that gives you the energy to go the rest of the day. But typically, I may eat a bowl of cereal or something, or I'll stop at Jack in the Box and I'll get a breakfast jack or something, dollar menu time, I have to do it that way. But, I do always include my proteins, eggs. I do a boiled egg sometime. Back when I was younger, I watched Rocky, and after I watched Rocky, it motivated me, and I started drinking eggs, And,
oh, yeah. You have to be careful, so the salmonella sometimes.
Yeah. Now, let's switch it up for a minute. Instead of you interviewing me, let's just be a talk show. Okay? Because I think you're more comfortable with someone kind of talking instead of interviewing. So we'll just keep talking here.
Sure.
So, yeah, I do eggs sometimes. What do you do in the mornings?
It varies. I listen to my body. I usually, have like a boiled egg and, a whole grain toast and stuff like that,
Do the boiled egg give you gas?
No,
have to talk about
there are
that.
things that give me gas, but that's not one of them. I try to keep it to myself.
Yeah, I mean, when I first met my wife, man, she let one out. We call it a fluffy.
A fluffy.
But anyway, lunch. Do you eat lunch? Do you starve yourself or what?
No, I don't starve myself. No, I basically eat what I want. I ask myself if it's a healthy choice. I try to stay away from simple carbohydrates, simple sugars, processed foods like, white bread, hamburger buns. I like a lot of green stuff. I like a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables. And I don't think in terms of my weight, I think in terms of my health.
Okay.
And I think that's, I think any food that's closest to the source, you know what I mean? Anything
Like
that's really
organic.
fresh.
You know, most people can afford organic, but you know, there's
You know,
some
but
things.
there's farmers markets, especially here in Dallas. There's a
Yeah.
farmers market. Even the Asian markets are much cheaper. So it's a matter of being a good shopper, knowing where to go
Yeah,
to buy
you
your
can also go to
produce.
the Hispanic markets too. The produce is a lot cheaper,
Yes.
but you got to make sure. You know, some things are imported from Mexico, so you know you may want
Oh,
to
yeah.
make sure and check the labels on that. Is there a problem with running? Because I was told that when people run, you get it's more effective to walk because you get the tendonitis in your bones and joints. So you know, I think it's just as effective to walk instead of running.
Absolutely. You know, I'm a big advocate of walking, and especially power walking. You know, I think that when you run, it kind of jars your body, you know, and it puts, you know, it could, especially, you know, when you're over 30, 35, you know, it could do some impact, you know, damage, like you say, on your joints as such. I think it's much more effective to walk, you know, and also to progress between walking slow, walking faster, and kind of like alternating
okay.
back and forth, kind of like cross training.
What about you know, putting some weights in your hands or wearing the leg
Yes.
weights? Would you recommend
That's
that?
beneficial, absolutely. Yeah, putting leg weight, anything that causes your heart to work, you know, harder and beat faster, you know, it burns more calories.
Now, I have to ask you this too. You know, a lot of people out here, you know, they do the Zumba dance stuff. That's
Yes.
the latest craze. You know,
Right.
it's kind of like you know Billy Blanks and Tybo is out now, and Zumba dance.
Zumba dance.
What do you think about Zumba dance?
Well, I have a very dear friend who does Zumba, and she loves it, you know, and the funny thing is that she's very overweight right now. She's actually consulting with me, but she wants to lose 30 pounds. And, you know, she's been doing Zumba for over a year now, and she's been teaching it, but her weight's not going down because she's not lowering her calorie intake. But she's noticed that a lot of people like Zumba because it doesn't feel like exercise, it doesn't feel like work. It feels more like, you know, going out to the club and having fun without the alcohol,
Okay,
which is really good. So you're not, you know, concentrating, and you're not suffering with the strain of exercise. You're actually just enjoying yourself, and I think that's
Is
the
there
point.
something that we could probably create, you know, instead of the Zumba dance, like the hustle or something, or the
Something-
Antoine Dotson dance?
Yeah, exactly, right.
We might need to come up with something like that.
Yeah,
you know?
definitely, yeah, something, because I mean, Zumba is like, you know, Latin created, it's salsa, a lot of people like that. I'm not a fan of salsa music, you know, I like more club music, hip hop, stuff like that, R&B.
Let's see, hip hop. You know what? I'm just seeing someone out there doing one of like the Superman dance and all that.
But you know, I mean, like on a Dr. Oz show the other day, they were showing a girl that does the hula hoop. You know, and I bought myself one at the dollar store yesterday, and I can't get the hang of it. But I think that when I do, it's going to be really good.
You've never hula hooped before?
I never did it as a child. I tried and I failed. But, you know, I'm going to try again.
I can put them on my arm and I can kind of do this.
No,
and I can put them around my waist, but I can't keep it going. I've seen people just keep it going. Well, the guy was a gay guy that did that. Scratch that.
Speaking of gay, I heard something about Billy Blanks, but I'll keep that to myself.
Billy
My rumors.
Blank. Billy Blank. That's fill in the blank, right?
Yeah, it's just a little bit of room around the martial arts community. You know?
Okay, Tucson, Arizona. You know, Representative Gifford, Gabriel Gifford. Man, that's a really trying time. How, I guess, you know, since you're into martial arts, and I know there's a rehab process for her. What are some of the things that people can do at home, you know, without buying all the weight equipment and stuff, you know, like books or just regular chairs? What can someone do at home to kind of rehab themselves? Because, you know, I was looking at the show the other day and they were saying she's doing just basic things like learning how to lift a book, learning how to lift a fork again, you know. So can you tie that in a little bit? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's a lot of, you know, when you're just saying things that you can do at home. I just wanted to go back to the fitness thing. You know, I was talking to a guy that he's a salesman and he drives a lot for a living. And he has like problems with, you know, the tire in the middle, you know, the extra,
the Dunlap,
excess.
the Dunlap disease.
Right.
Your stomach done lapped over your belt. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Or booty doos, like your stomach sticks out farther than your booty do. That
Booty
too,
do?
booty do.
I never heard of
There
that
you
one.
go. Yeah, booty do. That's another one.
People, make sure you mark the booty do.
Booty do.
Booty do.
Right, you don't want to have booty do. You want your booty to stick out farther than your
Right,
stomach do.
right.
Okay. Right. But, he was saying, I want to get my stomach down. I just don't have the time for exercise. Well, I taught him an exercise, and I can teach you
Okay.
from your chair. If when you're sitting down at work, when you're driving, it's just like, okay, you breathe in. Okay, and when you breathe in, I want you to suck your gut in when you breathe in, okay? And when you breathe out, push the air out. I want you to feel my midsection, okay? Put your finger here. It's okay. It's okay, Floyd.
Man, rock hard, man.
You're pushing. You don't want to puff your stomach out, okay? You're training your muscles in.
So it's almost
instead of
like
out.
singing. They say when you take a breath, you should sing the note. Push it out from your diaphragm.
Push it, exactly.
Right.
Push it out. What you want to train your stomach is to go in and not out. Okay, a lot of people make the mistake of when they do sit-ups is to puff their stomach out to breathe in at the wrong time. That kind of like makes your stomach bigger and rounder. If you keep concentrating on sucking it in,
It tones
the stomach,
Right.
and you can do it from any position, sitting, driving your car, working in the office.
I had back surgery, and someone told me, said, the reason why I'm still having back problems now, one is my posture. Two, my stomach muscles have relaxed so much that, you have to tone the stomach and train your stomach to shrink it.
Oh, yes.
And that's really a big part of back pain and starting to lose weight, too. You have the outer fat, but you also need to shrink your stomach. And the more you shrink your stomach, the less that you eat, or the less you want to eat. What do you think about drinking water? A lot of water before you eat to kind of take up room.
I think it's important to drink water all throughout the day.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Not so much maybe to gorge yourself with it. It's basically listen to your body. And if you make a fist for me right now, make a fist. See this? This is the amount of food that you should eat at each meal. No bigger than that. And I know it doesn't seem like a lot of food, but that is the size of your stomach. Okay? Now, the important thing.
That's the kind of food I eat. Right?
Okay.
That whole thing right there. My steak alone that I ate last night was bigger than this hand.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And the baked potato was about the size of a fist. So, yeah, my baked potato was
I mean, I think that, once it's in your stomach, it changes form. It's not shaped like the steak that was on your plate.
Man, I heard in the news that Spokane, we're changing it up a little bit. There was a bomb at the MLK parade. Did you hear about that?
Right. Actually, I didn't until I read it this morning. What really surprised me was that a gentleman had built a snowman and in the form of a KKK person. And the sheriffs came, and he knocked the pointy hat off when the sheriffs came, and they considered it an act of terrorism. But I don't know if it was the same guy that planted the bomb, but the bomb was supposedly very sophisticated.
Okay.
And,
Why do you think people still have hatred like that in this day and time? I mean, life today has nothing to do with color. It's more about economics. The haves, the have-nots. If you're poor, I don't care what color you are, you're shopping at the same store, you're living in the same community, or the same slum, same conditions. And if you're rich, I don't care what color you are, you can afford to live in better conditions.
Right.
Why is there so much focus on race?
I have no idea. I think it's a lack of education. I think it's ignorance. I think it's the way that children are raised by their parents. It's hard to say, when I was growing up, and it's probably going to date myself, but I remember, because I was born in the Bronx, New York City, and my mother and I used to sometimes take the bus, and my uncle is
shout
half
out
black.
to 212. 212, right?
212, yep, 212.
Right.
My uncle was half black, and so we used to have to sit on the back of the bus, and I always asked my mom, why can't we sit in the front
Now,
of the
which
bus?
half was black? His upper half or his lower half?
No, it was like a
Okay,
line
down
down
the
the middle.
middle.
Yeah,
Okay,
down the
okay.
middle. Yeah, right? His father is black and his mother is Puerto Rican, because I'm Puerto Rican and Irish, by the way. And so I was like very confused. I was like 3 or 4 years old, and I didn't understand, why there were signs, no colored people. I'm like, what's colored mean?
Because really, you're colored. We're all colored.
Right, we're all colored, and
color.
no one is like in a blank white,
Unless you pasty white like a camera guy.
Right, or an albino. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he is. He's Swede, right, right. I remember, thinking that black people were the most beautiful people in the world, and I was feeling like God hated me because I wasn't born black.
Man.
Because it's such a beautiful color, and plus in the 80s, everyone went tan, and the darker the better.
That's totally opposite, because I'm black. They're the most ugliest people in the world because we felt that we were persecuted. So it's so crazy. People want to be black, and then black want to be something else, And, some women get their lips to be larger, and you talked about the booty do, man.
Brazilian butt implants.
It's crazy. It is really crazy.
And it's funny because a lot of white women want to have large lips like the black girls do.
And they're getting tans.
Right, and they want to have big booties like black girls.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it's just very confusing. People can be.
And then blacks want to have the long, beautiful hair.
Wear extensions and weaves, and the contacts and stuff like that.
I mean, hey, you know what? I think it's beautiful when you see, being that Martin Luther King Day just passed, and, he had a dream that most people, black kids and white kids, will all be able to play together. And, I think that has come to pass. I mean, it's so amusing to go to a little small town in Texas like a Teague or Sulphur Springs, and you see, go to the football games in Sulphur Springs, and you see some of the older adults, white adults that, they were back in the 40s and 50s, but they got little black grandkids.
Right.
And I'm like, see?
Because, they made it a secret, they weren't out about it, and I don't know why it's a big deal, it's just like, you look at animals and they wouldn't behave in the way that a lot of human beings behave.
Right.
Like a white dog wouldn't say, well, I don't want to hang out with that dog's black.
Right.
Or, for that matter, dogs don't walk around with cigarettes hanging from their mouth either. Human beings, they're really strange creatures. I mean, I know that we're human beings, but
but we have the ability to reason, and that's the bad part. And animals, unless they are asexual, they breed with other animals opposite of them, the opposite sex. That's how they produce children. You never see two male polar bears
doing it
on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like when Brokeback Mountain came out, man, I thought that was just so hilarious. It was just crazy.
It was hard to watch for me.
Do you watch? I can't watch it. I said I'm not gonna watch it.
That was a hard one.
Yeah. And you think, hey, people out there, can you imagine John Wayne, the Duke, and out there with Marshall Dillon from Gunsmoke? Anyway, hey, that's our show for today. Our cameraman, he has this Stephen King look about him. But anyway, we'll be back to you next week on the Hump Day Show. I'm Ernest Walker, and this is Hope King. Hey, Hope King, Stephen King. Hey,
Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King. Anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll be back at you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Great. Hey, this is Ernest Walker. We're at the Hump Day Show.